previous life. I did some independent films with Master P. A lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious, I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
Yeah. What's a good word? What's a good word? Good to see y'all, man. What's up with you? What's up with y'all? Welcome to the program. Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, good to see y'all. Welcome back. Let's Go Live is the program with Lamont King. I am Lamont King, and we are now live. Let's go. Let's go. It's a live show. This is happening right now in real time. Monday through Friday, Lord willing, 6 to 7 p.m. East Coast time. Shout out to everybody watching on the West Coast right now. And worldwide. Broadcasting live from the newly remodeled Drunken Fruit Studios.
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad official.
Thank you, Lord Jamar, brand Nubian. Appreciate you. Big fan. Always love your work. Shout out to the Peanut Gallery. Good to see y'all, man. Newcomers, what up? Regulars, what up? No individual shout outs. You know the rules. Yeah. So there's that. You know what that means? That there's a sale going on, ladies and gentlemen. What's on sale? Drunken Fruit holiday trinket bundles. Go send them an email right now. Ask questions that they can answer. Say my name and the name of the show. You get 10% off all holiday bundles. That's the duos and the trinkets. Courtesy thedrunkenfruit.com. Except, no, wait a minute. I got to see your face. Except no invitations, man. There's some imposters out there, some duplicators, some fakers out of the Southwest right now that are really, they really trying to be a certain way. So accept no imitations. Drunken Fruit spelled correctly. Hashtag Drunken Fruit spelled correctly. If it ain't them, it's not official. I just thought I'd put that out there. Don't dwell on it. We'll revisit it at another time. But I just wanted to put that out there because some people are like, oh, I seen it, but I thought I saw it, but it didn't look the same. You're right. So spell it correctly. Drunkenfruit.com. Except no imitations. You know what I mean? One way of looking at it is you know you're doing all right when people trying to swagger jack you and hijack your process and your product and your logos and all that. You know you're up to something good and right when that's happening. All right, our executive producer, Mr. Clarkson, down the hall in Studio G. Good to see you, and our bureau chief in New York with the latest late breaking stories. Mr. John Watson. Good to see y'all. How y'all figuring? How y'all feeling today, man? Good to see y'all. Hey man, I had a Popeyes biscuit yesterday. We had a little holiday situation at the job, and it was like a potluck, but nobody brought anything because nobody trusts each other. So somebody brought Popeyes, and we just ate Popeyes. It was like, happy holidays, chicken. They brought a biscuit, man, and I felt some kind of way about the Popeyes biscuit, man. Yes, this is how I'm starting to show off. It's not the same, man. I think they changed the biscuit again. They've done it on previous occasions throughout history, but I think they did it again, and we didn't ask for it this time. They changed it's more of a, I don't even know if you can call it a biscuit now. It's more like a briquette. It's like a briquette. It really is different. The Popeyes, and I'm not even talking, I don't need you to go down memory lane. I'm not asking for your recollections and I remember when I was little. I don't need that. I'm talking like 2-3 years ago. The biscuit at least was made a certain way that while it was hot en route, it still had a certain amount of fluff and moisture to it. We all know that it's probably, some fake ingredients in there, as with most fast food. And also, I really don't want to hear that you don't eat Popeyes anymore. I'll just stop it. Everybody wants to get all, self-righteous when they get older. Now, I don't remember the last time I've been to Popeyes. I do. So anyway, back to the biscuit, the briquette. A couple years ago, it at least would stay warm and fluffy in transit. It at least. And then, if you let it sit or wait till the next day, you taking your chances. But man, I had this biscuit yesterday. I was like, where did y'all get this from? Is this what they're doing with the biscuits now? And I had the hack too, because they had leftovers at work today. So I thought I had the hack, the biscuit hack. I'm gonna give you a biscuit hack for dry ass biscuits, KFC, other places, homemade joints, Bisquick. The next day, depending on how it's made, you can put it in the microwave. I usually like to toast and get the edges browned up so I can throw some butter and jelly on it. But if you ain't got that and you're impatient, take a paper towel, wrap the biscuit. I saw this on the internet like a few years ago, and just sprinkle a little bit of droplets of water on it, just vaguely enough, barely enough to wet the paper towel. Put it in the microwave. 30 seconds, probably too long. 20 seconds. The microwave boils the water molecules in the paper towel, and then it steams your biscuit. You get your biscuit steamed without running the risk of it's too chewy or hard or unwarm. You get your biscuit steamed like a bao bun. Steamed. I tried that today and it did not work with the new Popeyes biscuit. I was like, what do y'all do? How? Why did y'all change? Why these chains and restaurants feel the need to change? And so I put it out there and I got all this feedback or whatever. And people were saying, man, it's regional. The West Coast biscuits has always been different. Maybe the supply chain has been altered because of, and I'm like, my mind is blown because I'm like, I ain't even think about none of that. It was like, maybe the supply chain was altered because of COVID. And so you really getting West Coast dusty biscuits on the East Coast because of the way factories is, and I was like, oh, that could be real. Like different factories, like the East Coast pipeline is a little different now. So you got to get your biscuits shipped in from Seattle or wherever the dry biscuits are made. And then a couple other people was like, well, it depends on what you put on it. I said, I put on honey. It was like, well, jelly is is the X factor. That's depending on what flavor of jelly enhances the flavor profile. And I was like, well, the flavor profile wasn't necessarily the issue. It was the moisture profile. I was like a rock, and I was damaged because the combination, I can't even make the thigh skin. You make the thigh, take the thigh skin because you take the thigh skin off in one piece and make a biscuit sandwich. Couldn't even do that. I was so disappointed. So disappointed. I don't know. I don't know what to think, man. It was heartbreaking because I remember back in the day. Now I'm going back in the day. Back in the day, the Popeyes biscuit, there was no other biscuit, and it was a drop biscuit. You could tell because it had the little crown on it, and it had the little point, and it was like freshly. It would split Looked like it had just split, and then he took it out the oven. Now it's a sheet of dough, and he take a cup and cut the shape. Nah, man. I was disappointed. Figured I had to share that with y'all. Nola says, I'm from New Orleans, and it ain't been the same for about 20 years. I eat it once in a while, and I always ask myself why. Yeah, you always get that little guilt. You know, I ain't had it. Let me go grab one, and you get it. You be like, it's not the same. I got a good biscuit story, but I'm gonna tell you this real quick. Hold on. Yeah, you're right. West Coast Popeyes is off. That's what somebody said. That's what they said. That's what somebody said. I'm bringing the guest real quick. Maybe she can get in on this biscuit conversation. If you're ready to go, I see you looking around and make sure. I'll give you a few more seconds. You know, one of our fan favorites for the program with the holiday situation in the background, looking real. Yeah, you ready? I see. I didn't bring you anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the program, India Sweet, the holiday edition. Good to see you.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good. What's good with you?
No, I was like looking at my face, and then you like.
I can see. Yeah, I wasn't gonna set you up, but I see you priming and pruning and all that. But yeah, man, it's this biscuit controversy. I know you're a health nut, and you don't.
No, it's so funny that you said this, and you
okay
about the biscuits, because my kids were just eating. I don't even know what day it is. It's like a day or two ago. They are so addicted to the biscuits. My son, who's like right behind me, ate 5 in one setting. And I'm like, I can't do gluten anymore, so I can't eat. I'm like, y'all have no idea how they used to be. Like,
right.
Now you can tell they probably come prepackaged. Before they like formed them, they let them rise because know the crust to it. Yeah, that's no longer.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I thought gluten was wheat though. Ain't no gluten in a Popeyes biscuit, is it?
Flour. How do you think they make them?
Flour. Yeah. I was thinking corn. Ain't that the same thing? No, but that's not wheat though.
Corn is not. Those biscuits are made out of flour, which is wheat. That's how you make any baked goods.
That's right. You went to culinary school. I thought flour was corn. Flour is not ground corn?
No, it's ground wheat. The big barrels of like hay and wheat. Not hay.
Okay. Yeah. Who's eating hay? You out here eating hay? Okay. Yeah. Damn shame what they did to that horse. Hey, so yeah, but look, here, so I wanted to get you on so I can tell you because you might remember this story. So this story, it's like 20 years. The morning show, we went to the Kentucky Derby one year. Went to Louisville. They had just added the morning show to Louisville, and we went out there to do the whole dog and pony show our face. Never went to the Derby, but we went to dinner with this big sponsor that knew our boss, right? And so he took us out to dinner. I was young. I had no clue what this was.
Big boss, like the owner boss?
No. The funny guy.
Okay.
Whose name was on the show. Yeah. So we at the table at this super fancy steakhouse. I had no clue what was going on, but he was basically looking to partner and fund future movies.
Okay.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he was, he was schmoozing us and whatever you call that, whining and dining us or whatever. And he was a big entrepreneur in that market, black guy, right? So I happened to sit next to him at the table. So we like, rapping. I'm talking, blah, blah, blah. I see we belong to similar civic organizations, and I seen his, he had some jewelry on. I was like, blah, blah, blah. He was like, oh yeah, that. So we're gonna talking. So he had this binder with him. This is a true story. He had this binder with him. So he had owned all of these restaurants. He said he owned like 100 franchises, right? He said, I diversified my portfolio. I bought 40 so-and-so, and I just bought 60 Popeyes. He said, all of them in the Midwest. I really pretty much bought the chain out of the Midwest.
Oh, wow.
Right? So he's sitting there, he got the binder next to him. So he say, yeah, but I'm having some issues with them because I'm trying to change the menu. So I'm like, okay, I'll humor you. I'll play. I said, what you mean change the menu? How you gonna change the menu? He was like, well, he said, when I grew up, the biscuits was different. This is like year 2000. He's like, the biscuits was different. And so I'm like, oh, you're right. He was like, I'm trying to change it back. So he opens the binder and he has you ever seen like like kitchen. Well, sure you have. You went to culinary school, like kitchen schematics.
Yes.
So it's like patterns
Mhm.
and diagraphs and pictures. Little artwork with the pictures or whatever. And they're literally he has the old recipe, the new recipe, the way they're made in the binder. He's just flipping through it at the table, and I was like, I'm sitting next to the dude that's about to change the Popeyes biscuit back.
Yeah, did that work out?
I don't know. Like never seen or heard dude from again. He just, I don't know if he was
Apparently
fluffing, but that was exciting. That was that's one of them, one person removed moments.
But you're better than me because I would have taken a snapshot or tried to remember the recipe.
Yeah, this is
That's what
before
I'm gonna
camera.
try to do.
This is before camera phones. Yeah. You know what? I think I know the recipe.
Do you?
The difference? Butter. That's it. Yeah.
Listen, I've been trying to figure out the Popeyes chicken recipe for years. So, I mean, the actual batter. I mean, I have gone through all kinds of flours.
Oh, I can hip you on that. I can hip you. You don't know the secret ingredient?
No.
Cornflakes. You never heard that?
You're lying. No. I've done cornflakes before. And it doesn't give you.
You got to mash them. You got to mash them.
Like mortar and pestle kind of mash.
Yeah, you got to mash them. Yeah, there was a guy. It was a DC carryout. This Ethiopian dude who was a regional general manager. He left them and opened a carryout on 7th Street. We used to get it at lunch, and it tastes exactly the same.
I know the spices, but it's crunch. Okay.
Yeah, cornflakes. You got to get them down.
Always like. It wouldn't be like too much. You know what I mean? You can still kind of know it's a cornflake.
Nah, you gotta get them all the way down. Yeah, that's it.
Because cornflakes gluten-free. So
there you go. Oh,
I can do that.
There you go. So sidebar. When did you know that you was gluten whatever?
Around.
But we grew up on gluten. I don't understand why.
Well, I think certain people, but also I have certain health issues. So I was on like a medication, and that medication I really think affected my stomach. And come around like 2013 or so, I kept getting so sick. Like I thought I was gonna die. I'm like, every time I eat, I won't go into it, but the pain was so extreme. I'm like, what is going on? And again, like you said, since I went to culinary school, to me, I think just about everything is either caused by food or can be cured by food. And so I was like, okay, let me go through my diet. First, I removed like lactose. Still kept on happening. And I think I tried to remove something, even tried to remove alcohol, but it still kept on happening. And when I got to the gluten, I just kept doing like trying to figure it out. And I just removed it for a little bit. I was like, I'm feeling better. Tried to go back to it. It was a wrap. I was like, okay, officially that's what it is. So now if I get like a little bit of something, I'm like, oh my God, I've been gluten. My stomach flares, like literally goes twice its size, and I'm done.
All right. So they told us, wheat bread was better than white bread because enriched white bread was really not good for you. Right. So then now, what do they tell you? Go back to the white bread?
Oh no, that's still all gluten. It's still all gluten.
You can't do bread at all.
Oh no, they have gluten-free breads now.
Oh, gluten-free bread.
It's gotten a lot better. I mean, when I first started, it was horrible. So all I was like baked chicken and broccoli. But now, because so many people are gluten-free, it's like a $3 billion a year industry. I'm trying to get my whole house gluten-free. It's kind of hard with like bread because you have to freeze it. It doesn't last as long. But so many gluten-free things are out there and better than a regular. Like Bisquick, their gluten-free pancake mix, I would put it up against the Bisquick gluten-free and King Arthur gluten-free. I would put it up against any pancake mix, and you'd be like, this is better.
King Arthur, I never even heard that brand. That sounds like some.
King Arthur's a lifesaver.
King Arthur?
Yes.
Like I've never even. Who's on the box? I don't even know. I've never even.
I don't know if I have one. It's like a baking little man.
It's not even King Arthur. King Arthur's not even on the box. Now,
I don't think they could get a licensing.
I don't know. That's questionable, man. It just nowadays I got to, it's important who's on the box. You know what I'm saying? I got to know.
Listen, I was not mad at Uncle Ben's or Aunt John. They had jobs, man. So I never got that. But whatever.
You know what? I think it's ageism. I think it's fake outrage, because I went the other day, right? And it's a ton of niggas on bottles now. It's like, I'm like, well, wait a minute. I thought we had a problem with that. But I guess
it depends on who it is, because like Shaq,
they had Lester
face on his own can.
They had Tubbs, barbecue, Lester Bibbs, Mr. Bibbs. They like this.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Sweet Baby Ray. Well, his face ain't on the joint, but
oh well, I got one. His face on the back.
Oh, his face on the bottom?
On the back of it.
I saw like 3 bottles of it. I'm shopping in a little, some stores you go in, they have these, local and new and brands that aren't national. And I was like, man, there's a lot of niggas with bottles in this thing. I mean, one dude, they had the fish fry joint, and it was what is that? Uncle Nephew or something like that. And it was a fish fry, and it was just seasoning in a bag. I'm like, how did you get in the store? Man.
Some people, it's actually their real face though.
That's what I'm saying. These are like real people.
Mama and Uncle Ben's, it wasn't really them. So they were like,
well, that seems like
they were pandering. But
that seems like you should have less of a problem. I would think the problem would come if Uncle Ben was a real person and he wasn't getting paid.
Yeah.
I would have his family and all that. But Uncle Ben, as in, here's a dude who he had a shirt and tie, little here's a dude who looked like, I didn't get Butler when I saw him.
I didn't either.
He looked like, unless earlier, it might be this, but earlier he might have had the whole Butler uniform on with like cut off shredded pants, and he was barefoot and all that. But this Uncle Ben, he looked like a dude that can cook.
Listen, I always thought it would probably be a hindrance to have black people on your stuff. So if you put black people on your box, then I can't be mad at you, but I don't know, because everybody uses Uncle Ben's.
Right.
Everybody used Aunt Jemima. It wasn't just.
And I think Uncle Ben got caught in the crossfire because Aunt Jemima is a little. You can be like, all right, we passed that. I don't like the connotation, but Uncle Ben, he ain't got nothing to do with it. It's nothing slave about Uncle Ben. To me.
When you talk about Aunt Jemima, go back and watch the A Different World episode when they did the Black History presentation. This was like one of the last seasons, and Whitley actually put up a picture of Aunt Jemima, and who was it that played Kim had a problem with it. She was so angry, and Whitley was like, go back and read the story. And then, Kim ended up coming back at it, in the end, black people, we raised this nation. Black women fed and raised this nation, so it can go either way.
Yeah. And then now the John Watson, our bureau chief out of New York, he it's a great point. How do you even know, even with all these black people on these bottles and these packaging, the new ones too? Yeah. How do you know if it's black owned for real though? Because the one I saw, it was like Lester's fish fry. He was in Waldorf, and on the package, I picked up the package, and it was like manufactured and distributed out of Waldorf, Maryland. I was like, I want to buy.
Most are not. Most are not. I mean, I can tell you that right now. Most probably are not, and even some probably will just sell their recipe and then their licensing, and then they get the money and they're gone, and other people own it.
Do you know how to get into that arena?
Which part? Like,
let's say you had a bomb recipe, right, and or product, and you were able to, like, okay, the drink market. I feel like that's easy for some reason. Mm-hmm. Like the little girl with the tea, little black girl with the tea. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm talking about? The honeybee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she got in Whole Foods or whatever. It's expensive as hell, but every time I see it, I'll give me one.
Yeah.
But how do you get into that? Like, do you know how to get your product in the marketplace, or even where to go to get it made? Because she's in a factory right now. She's not in the crib. How does that work?
It depends. To me, it depends on what your product is and how good your product is, because she probably just started making it. And if you can get enough people to support you when you're making it, then, a lot of people, you can go to different companies, or you can see, because I even did a couple of gluten-free companies, because I've been working on, recipes, and they're like, when you finish it, whatever, send it to us. but you have it, you take care, make sure it's copyright, that you have all your ducks in a row before you send it off, and they will use it. You just have to, it's almost kind of like knowing the right person or making sure you just stick after it. It's crazy.
But where do you get it made at though? Like if I had a flavor or a tea drink, like Honest Tea. I look at Honest Tea. Honest Tea is one of my favorites because I don't like sweet drinks. And I think they're made in Maryland or somewhere close. But they came in, they got a hell of a market share right now. But it's a very thin tea. It's like there's basically nothing in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where do y'all get that manufactured? You do that.
Googling manufacturers in your area, because you have to know them, because even like up here in New Jersey, I had no freaking idea that New Jersey was such a huge manufacturer market. Like so many headquarters. Nabisco is up here. They've gone bankrupt now. Toys R Us, and I'm talking about just right in this vicinity where I am. I mean, every time you turn around, I'm sorry, I gotta plug in my laptop. Every time you turn around, you see a different manufacturer, and you just kind of gotta Google it, and because in every state they will manufacture what you need. Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. All right, so you back on social media. You just had a little. So you was suspended. Welcome back. I want to say welcome back. You had a little. Huh? But that's part of what we're, this is part of.
No, I got blocked because I violated the community standards.
And what happened? And how long did they give you?
24 hours. And long story short, I follow Forbes, right? Because I read a lot of Forbes. They give me money information and they give you regular news. So they had just put up America reached 300,000 deaths. All I put was, this makes me so sad that so many people have lost loved ones, the dire state of our country. It breaks my heart. I don't understand how somebody can have a problem with that.
Wait a minute, you said that to who? To what?
No, I just commented. You know how I read the article and I just put my comment up there.
So you didn't even repost the article?
No, this was under Forbes.
Your comment is so sad. Say the comment again. It's so sad.
The dire state of our country. This breaks my heart to see so much pain and loss. That was the extent of it. And
very eloquent. It sounded eloquent.
That is because this is what I exactly put. I mean, I wish I had a screenshot so I could put it. And some people are like, I know it's so sad. People still won't learn. So then here comes this person. Well, how many people die of other medical related issues and something? And I just wrote, what is your point? And he's like, because you only care about people that died of COVID. And I don't know, for some reason, it sent me over the edge, because to know me is, I am the loyal to a freaking fault, right? And I care about people. I will give you the shirt off my back. I will give you what I don't have. And so when I saw that and already being upset, it just like triggered me. And I didn't even curse. I was just saying, who the F? I only put the letter. I said, who the F are you talking to? You piece. And I put the poop emoji. And that was it, right? Well, that was it. And I was just like, I care about all people. How dare you? You don't know me. It'll be in your best interest if you just don't comment anymore. And I got blocked.
So what happens in that process? Because I've never knock on everything. Who reports you? The person? Facebook? Zuckerberg?
No, it wouldn't even post my comment. It didn't even put it up. So I guess it's like some automated generated thing that if it in the sequence of the analytics or however it's being whatever caught it, and it was like, you can appeal it if you want. I did. They said I still whatever, and I guess this was my third one, because last time I said I was tired of stupid white people.
Oh, well, they're watching you. You're on the watch list then.
Yeah, I was.
You're on the watch list. Now anything with F and poo in it, the poo emoji, hey.
Yeah, I don't want to be like, you just see when Olivia Fox, how she got banned for like a month and a half.
Oh, no, she goes hard.
Yeah, she was gone for like a month and a half. She just got back on. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to chill. But I was like, but I didn't even say anything bad. I was like, I didn't say what I really wanted to. But
no, they knew what you wanted to say. You probably got blocked for what you wanted to say.
Yeah.
because the AI and the algorithms are already set up in such a way
What it is.
they know where you were going based on where you've been. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, that's the future.
I know.
They be like, we know this one.
I
And
know.
we know what she's capable of. We know what she's about to say. She got to go.
But I never curse though. That's the thing. Like you'll be hard pressed to find me cursing, period. But I will never curse online for the most part. Like I will use A or F, but whatever. Free crime.
Why ain't you? Yeah, that's real. That's real. That's what was that Minority Report? 100% real. So you didn't appeal, and you just got 25. Oh, you did?
And they said it still did, and I was like,
oh.
So and I kept trying to go on because you can still go on, right? But I would like try to click like or something, and they'd be like, "You have 5 hours left. You're still blocked. You have 3 hours left. You're still blocked." Yeah.
So you were trying every hour, is what you're saying?
No, I was actually laughing. I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, okay, I want to count down. Let's see how far I can go. All
right, I'm gonna give you some tips. Stop arguing with total strangers.
I did not argue in all caps.
Don't respond to strangers. That's really, I mean, it's easy to get wrapped up and involved in you know that atmosphere, environment. Take it from me. You know, just don't.
I don't. Like if it's an article about 45 and I write something and people start, I won't. But I'm like, how do you have something to say when I'm saying I'm heartbroken because we've lost 300,000 Americans? Like, what is so wrong with you? So it just.
Yeah, but you gotta maintain your chi. You gotta protect your chi. That's a level. That's a level of stress you don't need. Wondering why other people feel the way they do.
You're right.
It takes years off your life. You just gotta read it. See, here's my technique. You read it. Oh, you bitch, and then keep it going. But you don't have to type. You can just say it.
It's very few things that will send me over the edge. Like they could have said stupid stuff or whatever. But what I don't know. I guess I don't know. It's just one of those things with me. When you talk about me not caring, like
what if they don't even exist? What if it wasn't even a real person?
Most of them are. I have gotten into it with on like 45 ones, and I'd be like, oh, I would really type, you're a bot. Either you're this stupid or you're a bot. Either way, I'm not going back and forth.
But it could be like a teenager sitting in his room in Russia, butt naked on a day bed, and he's, you know what I mean?
I completely agree. Oh, yeah,
but he pushes your buttons. He pushes your buttons. You can't let him push your buttons though. Come on, India.
I know.
You're a veteran. Yeah.
It's emotional. You know what I mean? Like I don't get, and I'm not an emotional person. Like, you know, when my mother passed, I was consoling other people when they're all with whatever. But you know, when you say certain things, and to me, it's not a number. These are people. These are families that are completely being decimated by this disease. And I was just so mad. I couldn't hold it.
All right. Well, I brought you on today to talk about the vaccine and Black women being the face of the vaccine and Black people. But before we do that, we had a request from the Peanut Gallery from Haynes. What's your take on the Ball brothers? All three of them were in the league for about 2 days at the same time. I'm a fan of Pops. I've saluted LiAngelo getting drafted to the practice squad for the Pistons. He lasted about 3-4 days. He got that money. It's on his resume. He can tell his kids, I was a part of an NBA team. What's your take on the three of them?
Well, see, I feel the opposite about the father. I think he is a loudmouth, chauvinistic con man, to be honest with you, when it comes to business and certain things. And that's
a great American.
Lonzo left. I mean, he took people's money with the big baller brand. People bought shoes they never got. And it was hard for me because, you know, I didn't want to take it out on the boys. That's not the kind of person that I am. But he made me start to not like them because he came along with them. And I guess because I always liked Lonzo. I always felt like he was different, even from his father and the other two. You know, his mother has been sick, but you can always tell that he seems like he has more of her traits. The other two, I just think they...
It's funny you said that. I see that about Melo. I think Melo is the individual out of the bunch.
Yeah.
I think Melo's going to carve his own path.
Well, I'll say this. I hope they all do well.
Mm.
I am, just because I don't like the father, I do want all the boys to do well, because it is not easy out here. It's not easy to make it in the league. It's not easy to stay in the league. You know, the youngest boy, he just found out. So I do wish all of them well. Is it gonna work out? Lonzo's still up in the air. You know,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
All right. So switching gears.
A little bit.
This vaccine rollout. You know, I feel like there's a game of it's almost like a Klondike bar. Like, what would you do for this vaccine? I think that's about to happen. We're all about to play that game. What are you willing to get back for this vaccine? Because everybody wants to start traveling, and they're gonna start dangling. Live Nation said, I don't know if this is a rumor or not. Live Nation said, future concerts are going to be your access is based on having a vaccine form on your phone. And there's some airlines already, Australia, New Zealand. What is their I forgot their airline or whatever. They already have a thing where they're only flying to each other, nobody else. And if anybody else wants to fly from Australia to New Zealand, you got to have the paperwork. What are you willing to give up? All right, where are you as far as, if you had access to it the end of this month, what you doing?
Do I or do I?
I'm asking. If you had access to it at the end of this month.
I could possibly this early. I am choosing to probably wait till the summer, only because I don't feel like I am high enough on the risk chart. In my feelings, I am, because of my health issues, but age-wise and certain different things.
I ain't even talking about if. I'm talking about not even
now. If right now, I might, but by the summer, end of the summer, yeah, I probably will. And that is just for me, because I know if I caught COVID, a strong strain of COVID, it could possibly kill me or even my daughter, because we both have breathing issues. I have autoimmune, issues and things. So I know it would probably come in and have a freaking field day with me. So I'm like, risk reward. And I tell you what, I've never even taken a flu shot. Never done the flu shot.
Which I don't understand. I can't understand the
because the flu shot doesn't even have as high of an efficacy rate as the COVID vaccine does. So
efficacy rate in trials, in live trials, in 8 months.
The difference in that, and because you're still giving it to live people, and
yeah. But what I'm saying is, it's so soon. How can you make the comparison? I don't trust the flu shot, but I trust the vaccine.
No, I didn't ever say I didn't trust the flu shot. To me, it was, you would get the flu shot and you probably still get the flu. And so I never because most people that get the flu shot, well, I had the flu this year. I got, whatever, it wears off. But to me, in the flu, for the most part, will not kill you, unless it's like pneumonia behind it and you have a lot of complications.
But the flu can and will kill you.
I didn't say it wouldn't. I said most of the time. It is not the same as COVID. You have a much higher rate of dying with COVID than you do with the flu.
But isn't COVID a version of the flu?
Not
flu-esque?
It attacks different. The COVID attacks your body and your organs and different things. I mean, you have these young athletes now who catch COVID and they seem all fine. And they get, it goes past, it's out. But now they have heart issues, so many. You see the young man that was playing in the Florida basketball game, had COVID this summer and was playing and collapsed on the floor, because it is affecting and going after people's organs and different things.
Okay, so I was going to ask that. I didn't know. So I watched that story for 2 days and they didn't link it to COVID. So that it's linked to that now? Because he was in coma last time.
And he never had health issues And most athletes, because they did a study, like Penn State football team, I want to say up to like 35% of the guys that had COVID on the team had heart issues now that they never had before.
Right.
And, and that's big, because especially they keep on trying to play sports, and these kids are getting COVID, and that might stop them from ever even playing at the next level, because now they got all these health conditions that,
Right. So if somebody got on my page, somebody I went to school with, that's a doctor. I may even try to get her on. And she went through this whole little diatribe. No, you was on the same post.
Yeah.
Yeah. and and she, dropping science and all that.
Mhm.
And I feel all that, right? So I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not a doomsday spreader. I'm not a conspiracy theorist by no stretch. My whole issue is none of us know enough. At the beginning of this year, they told us they ain't know what it was. Told us they ain't know where it came from, and it's disproportionately affects Black people because pre-existing conditions and all that. And so I want to talk briefly about that. My doubts is because of the propaganda. And people say, there are people that use the Tuskegee experiment, and then there are people that come out, don't use that because it's apples and oranges. And I had to ask them, I was like, well, why do you think that's apples and oranges? Why wouldn't you use that comparison? Because the Tuskegee experiment, they gave them syphilis and didn't treat them. With the vaccine, it's a treatment. So they're giving you the cure. So it's not the same. And I'm like, well, no, it's really the same, because in that scenario, it was the medical industry. It was a evil segment of the medical industry that wanted to see what would happen to the Black body. Right now, I feel like it's the same thing. They want to see what would happen to the Black body. And so my problem is with the...
And why are they giving it to everybody? Because they started over in England, UK first, and they showed up wasn't starting up like Black people like that over there.
Well, in America, they're only showing you Black women giving it to Black women, and Black women speaking on behalf of and defending it, and using, there's a Black woman that created the vaccine for Pfizer, and this is a nurse, and she's giving it to one of her orderlies, and this, because and I said this the other day, because Black girl magic is so influential, and that visual. No, but that's what it is. It's the visual, and so I'm asking you. You don't have an issue with that at all. You don't think, and we talk about pandering, you don't think that...
I think it's twofold, right? I think number one, it was a Black woman, and we have to give her credit, because if a Black woman came up with a cure for a disease or a virus that shut down the whole world, you best give her props, because Black women have been looked over and unprotected since the dawn of time. And I believe credit is, due, because we know who created the polio vaccine and MMR and all these different things. So why shouldn't they?
I'm not saying they're wrong for getting credit. I'm saying it's propaganda.
Pandering. Well, to give her just due?
No, not even that. Because she actually, because Dr. Kizmikia actually went to UMBC. So I wanted to. But no, just the whole, you got these people coming out in the forefront. I took it, and it was my ancestors, and I heard this one lady on the interview today. She was the head of I think Howard, and she was like, I took it and I did it because this Y X and Z, and everybody that's showing is because to get you comfortable and to get you, because you trust Black women. It's your year. It's 2020. It's the year of the Black women.
Because you trust Black women. I think too. 45 has made this so political that I don't think if he did as much as he did, people would have such an issue, because he kept talking about it's coming and I'm going to make sure they do this. And had he not touted hydrochloroquine or that other one that he got when he was supposed to have had COVID, and most of the people that think it's a conspiracy or think something is behind it because of the history of our ancestors are Black people. But then I also look at it from the opposite standpoint. Like, if they would have did all white people, see, they don't care nothing about Black people. They not going to give us the vaccine. They want us to all catch it and die. So to me, there are certain groups that will never please. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like in the middle. And for everybody, I say you have to do your own research. Go to medical journals. Don't just click on, certain things. I get emails from Johns Hopkins, the Harvard and Yale, all these types of different medical journals where I can do my own research. I have a friend that's a doctor at the Ohio State University, as well as Johns Hopkins. And I reach out, what do you think? And all of them feel pretty good. And, like today, there was an allergic reaction in Alaska with a nurse that took it. And I think she had like an anaphylactic shock. She had another, let it go, and it was fine. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, see somebody else. I'm like, okay, so we're talking about 3 people out of probably 100,000 doses.
Sure.
So there's always going to be something. There's always going to be a risk. And nobody can say you'll be 100% okay. But I think each individual has to weigh their options of what, they want to be protected from anymore. Do I want to be protected from the vaccine, or do I want to be protected from COVID? So
here's a good one. This is I agree with this one. Why would they try and save us? And they're letting us die in the streets. You can't get me to believe that you love and hate me at the same time.
That's no. Scientists that are working in the lab that spend their whole life doing something. But then when you have a government that won't say Black Lives Matter, or have police reform, or do all kinds of things, or even let Black people buy
cahoots. You don't see it as cahoots. They in cahoots. Tenet.
To me, my whole thing is, you have to think about it. If everybody dies, pharma ain't making any money.
No. So it's not a everybody dies thing, right? So I don't think here's the thing. Again, I don't know enough. I only know just what my gut feeling and my historical research. I don't think it's a kill-off vaccine. I don't think that. I don't think it's gonna. I don't know if this is the beginning of zombie apocalypse from I Am Legend. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a red flag when the CEO of the organization today, I don't know if it was BioNTech or Pfizer, it was yesterday, he come out and say, oh no, I'm not going to take it yet because I don't want to cut the line. There are far more people more deserving and in a position of need than me. You've cut the line your entire life. Now there's a moral compass inside of you.
He probably already took it. I mean, I think he's probably just saying that.
If that's the case, what he took ain't what they giving out.
That's for each individual person to look into and do their own homework. I just know for me, and most of the time when you get shots and vaccines, reactions happen quickly. Most reaction shots don't happen like years and different things down the road with vaccines. So, I just know for me, my breathing, my everything, I cannot catch COVID.
Yeah, true.
So I have to say, which would I want?
Yeah. No, I feel that, and that's a hell of a.
That's for everybody. Everybody, this is not a perfect solution. I cannot say that I feel 100% positive about taking it. I'd be lying if I said that, But where we are now, I mean, I have been in this room with 3 children, 2 dogs, and a cat since March. If I can take something that gets me up out of here, that I feel from, I got to.
And that's what.
Or I'm going to jump out the window. So.
That's the title of today's show. What's it going to take? What would you give for it? What's it worth? Because to travel again, quick way to.
COVID vaccine equals population control. Hell, COVID is equal population control. Are you kidding me? We had over 300 people, 1,000 people died domestically, and over 1.5 million worldwide. That's called population control. That's why it got released in the first place. But we won't even go there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you said that.
With SARS. They tried with SARS.
Yes. And
we both worked over with Russ, because SARS used to be a back blurb on the USA Today, because I had been fascinated with SARS. Early 2000s, where it was supposed to have started in an apartment complex somewhere in China. That whatever, so instead of it being a wet market like it was supposed to be this time, it was some random, sewage thing that turned into whatever, but it never spread, and it was contagious as COVID. And I truly believe that this was not an accident. It was it did not come from a man eating a bat. That is ludicrous. It did not.
Okay, at least you're living in reality.
I can't tell all of the reality.
Right.
But it is not an accident.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure.
And that's why, that's why the people don't even understand this vaccine. They say, they did it so fast. This vaccine has been in the works for a long time. They have known about coronavirus. That was another reason why, Obama created the task force. If you look at, they have a couple of documentaries on Netflix, about this exact thing that we're going through right now, because they knew it was coming.
That kind of so people who use that defense right on Twitter and whatnot, for me, that kind of makes it worse. That argument makes it worse. Like, that's not an argument that makes me feel better. That makes
Worse
it
or
worse for
how you
me.
mean?
Like that makes it worse for me when you say, I'm like, yo, it's March, December, they got the vaccine already. How's that possible? And then the doctors come on my timeline and they like, well, they've actually been working on this
Yeah.
for a while, and the research and the technology has been around. It's just been the funding, and I'm like, wait a minute, y'all let people die over fake money that you can print up?
Well, that was 45 disbanded that task force, and the man.
No, I'm talking about throughout. I'm talking about throughout history, like the last 15, 20 years. Like the technology exists, the research has been started. It's only been slowed up because of funding. And now you're telling me I should be on board and be happy that y'all released the funding to save the world when you could have just did it or printed money before?
Here's the thing. I think there were so many things that we had to deal with that were right there at the forefront. Because, we're talking about like there's not always money to go around in the medical field for every single thing that is funded, to be funded, because there are millions of different.
No, there's money for whatever they want it to be for. That's my point. They can print money.
It can be, but when they do things like that, they usually are trying to go after the most immediate threat, right? So whatever's going on at that time, that's what they're working on. They're trying to go, and so
the immediate threat.
What's on the list? Because they had thought, it was contained in China. It's not out yet. Nobody is suffering from it right now. So it doesn't have to be as high on the list.
Nah, I disagree.
We have this disease.
I disagree.
We have all these different things.
I disagree.
You keep saying that, but and all medical companies don't do the same thing.
No, I'm sure. Which is another issue for me. Which is another issue that there's
the different ones.
6 different vaccines right now. So am I taking the vaccine or a vaccine? Because that's that. How are you saying, right? So I got stock in BioNTech, Pfizer, Moderna. What the efficacy rate, one is 94, one is 96, 97. I should be happy about this level of discrepancy across the board. I should be happy that somebody got a different virus than another one, and I might be on vacation and my shoulder's up like this, but the next person next to me is on some superhuman. You know what I'm saying? On some, we got a different version.
You have all different kinds of acetaminophen, and Tylenol is not the only one. You have different types of ibuprofen. There's so many.
Well, you have generic brands of the same product.
Even with medicines, you have different ones in different places. Like when I was trying to get treatment for mine, I went through 3 to 4 different medications before I found the one that worked for me. All the different medications worked for people, but they didn't all work for me.
Okay.
I was allergic to,
right.
And so that's why I said you have to do your research, because all of them are made up of different compounds, right?
Right.
You can actually go to Pfizer's or Moderna's, all these different websites to see what is inside of it, because I think that the Pfizer one, what was it? Glycol, and that is what the woman in Alaska had the allergic reaction to.
Oh, okay.
To look at it to see.
Got it. Well, that makes sense.
To make sure, but all of them say it. Then that's the most important part. But I mean,
I just know I'm gonna get the joint, and then I'm gonna start flying again, and I'm gonna go through that.
Are you gonna get it? You're saying that. Like,
no, I'm saying hypothetically in the future, whatever, I'm gonna get it, and then go through the metal detector and just be like dee, 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 because of whatever's in there. You know what I'm saying?
You are not one of those Bill Gates is injecting a microchip into me people, are you? Please no.
He don't even have to. It doesn't have to be a microchip. The technology that they have now, the nanotechnology, it don't even have to be a microchip. It's AI, like the RNA, whatever, mRNA. That it's like live nanotechnology. Hey, listen. Here's the thing. It's not that those things. I'll put it to you like this. Those things, those concepts are not far-fetched to me. 5G affecting your body, that's not a far-fetched concept.
Well, that's not a conspiracy. That is if you understand what 5G means, and it up in the radiation in the air and all the different things of all that and all these cell towers and everything that's going up. It's always been like that.
That's science, though. But when they suppress that information, there's a reason. That's all I'm saying. And there's a reason.
Vehicle and this is what people have to take their own by their own health by their hands and read and research and all the different things like that I did with the 5G. How there are doctors from all over the world saying 5G is moving too fast. It's just not safe. So you have to do your own research and don't rely on Facebook and bad websites to get your information.
No, absolutely. And I agree. But now it's becoming more increasingly difficult to get that information.
And that's why you have to go to verified medical journals across, get everybody's
Well, those people get fired too. Those people get fired and get canceled and have Jeep accidents. And I mean, so like
homes broken into,
all types of. There was a, people say they throw out conspiracy only when they don't know enough. There was a stretch, and this was a few years back too. There was a stretch where the world was moving to the whole gluten thing was kind of new, vegan, eating right. So they want you to believe, the marketplace wants you to believe that you should eat healthy for the sake of eating healthy, right? It's not a new concept, but they've been playing with the food for so long. And now they have to come out and be on the other side of the argument, right? But just before that move where it's only 5 companies that own all the food in America and probably the world, it's only like 5. Before they switched and start trying to give you organic everything, there was a string of doctors, Sebi included, who were I remember the list. It was like 109, right? They were, kind of promoting clean eating and herbal remedies and getting away from opiates and blah 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 blah, right? And all of them on this list, mugging, ski accident, overturned Jeep, you know what I'm saying? It was like 109, like some ridiculous amount, right? That sounds crazy to you if this is your first time hearing it and you're watching right now. You'd be like, I don't believe that. But these things take place. Yeah. So when you have issues now, when you have people asking questions, sure, a lot of these people aren't versed enough and they're asking questions based on watching somebody else ask the question on Twitter. But a lot of the stuff that people have questioned and concern about, to me, is not far-fetched. It's just not. The government has never been in your best interest. They've never been concerned about how to make your life better. Never. Science.
It's definitely not always in your best interest. I mean, they don't always have your best interest at heart. I mean, but that can go for just like anything. My mother used baby powder her whole life.
Exactly.
That's what killed her. The talcum and the talcum and the cancer principles is what killed her, is what gave her cancer and killed her. And that's why now everybody's like, you can sue Johnson & Johnson, all that. I'm like, well, can I sue you? Because my mother's dead and gone because she used this since she was a child, and that's what gave her cancer. But it's like that with everything, even like you said with the food. They have put that's why Monsanto went out of business and got sold, and bought by somebody else. They changed the name, but they're still using the same pesticides on your food. So to me, it's just about education. You know what I mean? Because people will go out there, they would get their hair done, their nails did, do all that, but they don't know what they're putting in their body, what they're eating, so many different things like that. So it's all on the individual to make sure, because there's so much bad information out there. They are trying to kill you in so many different ways. I don't want to say try to kill you, but make you sick so they can treat you.
Yeah.
You have to do your own, because in one way or another, whether it's something you eat or they inject inside of you or environmental, our environment is so bad right now, it doesn't even matter. I know people that had lived clean lives, but they had these towers in the neighborhood and they get cancer. You know what I mean? So my father went to work every day, U.S. Park police officer, and he caught cancer from his precinct. And that's how it was crazy. It was a whole thing. The police dogs were getting cancer and dying. So they moved the dogs. But they kept the people at the Anacostia station. And it was a big thing. They had study groups. I would go to these focus meetings at the U.S. Park Police headquarters in West Potomac Park and be arguing with these, people that saying, oh, there's no correlation between all these officers that died of cancer. I'm like, I don't understand how you can say that when you never reached out to me to get any of my father's medical records to see, if he had a predisposition to this or that, and this is just what affected him in that way. But there was asbestos all over the building. And before it could be, an outside person could test it, what did they do? Tore it down.
Oh.
And so, there's so many things that go on around it. So many times you don't even know. He gave his life to this country in Vietnam and the Park Police for over 25 years, and his office of sorts killed him.
Oh.
So, you never know. You really just, yeah.
And and
I would have known this when I was a little bit older because I really would have went after them, but I was younger when it happened. So yeah.
And kudos to you, because I've heard this story, but not that in depth. But you're still such a patriot, and that would be difficult for me.
I know. I guess because of the fact that I did grow up in government. I did grow up. My parents. I'm the product of a blind date in the State Department cafeteria. You know what I mean? So I was always raised to love this country. I was always raised to see the good in it. And for me, it's not the good that it is, but that it can be. And if I just stay mad all the time, I don't get anywhere, and I don't leave a better America for my children. So I have to see where we can go and what we can be. But I do. I freaking love this stupid country.
That's yeah. That's a hell of a position. All right. So in closing, you don't see a propaganda move with all the black women being propped up as you with it, and you can't wait for yours.
I wouldn't say that. I can't wait. But I see this as a catch-22. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you don't, see, you only care about the white people. So you put the black people on there. Oh, it's propaganda. So there is rock in a hard place. What are you gonna do?
And you said you're if you were able to get on on that list, but with your autoimmune and all of that, you can't like reach out and be like, yo, am I eligible?
Well, I there are things I just don't want to say. I could get it right now.
Oh, okay.
I won't, I won't say how, but
got it.
Yeah. So,
All right. Well, let us know. Can we do it on video when it happens? Can we do it live? Let's go live.
Yes, because if something happens, I do want y'all to know.
Yeah.
I do want y'all to be like, well, So I'm, like I said, I'm not saying it's gonna be perfect, but if it's got to be me, at least you can know, so you won't do it.
That's hilarious. Somebody said, vac that thing up. That's hilarious. Oh, that's a parody right there. Y'all better make it before I make it.
That's pretty good.
Or write it and send it to J. Anthony Brown. All right, Indian Sweet. Appreciate it.
Always fun. Thank you, sir.
As always, dropping those jewels and gems, ladies and gentlemen. One more time. Exciting. Girl, you look good. Won't you vac that thing up? That's hilarious. Wait a minute. Where did that originate from? Because I gotta. If I steal that, I gotta let you know. Vac that thing up. Did you, Ramon? Is that yours? Because I'm you give me permission to take that. I'm gonna write that and send it off, and you gonna hear it on Steve Harvey show. Let me know. Or unless you heard that somewhere, you took it. You heard it from somewhere. Yeah, I probably. I'm just say that. Take it from you. It is say when you took it. Anyway, all right. There it is, man. We he copyrighting it now. Too late, nigga. All right, we're out of here, man. That's all the time we have for today's show. Hey, if you enjoyed today's show, you want us to keep going, man, and $ Lamont King 06 is that Cash App. We take any and all to help this operation keep going and help us bring this program something like a podcast, trending topics, hilarious commentary, celebrity interviews, and interesting people to you on a nightly basis. Help us build this operation, man. You know what I mean? And on that note, man, we're over time, actually, and it's time to go, man. Y'all be safe, man. We'll see you tomorrow, Lord willing. Let's go. Let's go.